everyone. Today is day 10 of our Share the Gospel Challenge. I was out of the house this morning for a Bible study, and after we finished, I knew that I wouldn't be out of the house again, so we took a walk around the park, and there weren't very many people because it's a little warmer in the afternoon, but we found some park workers, and we went up to them and I shared the gospel. The first one I went up to acted like he didn't speak English, even though I think he did. And he's like, Esteban. And so I said, here, I'm giving this out. It's $1 million bill. Felt like we were supposed to talk to you. Has anyone ever told you about Jesus? And he said, no, not really. He's like, besides growing up. And so I went through the gospel with him, said, do you know what separates us from God? And he said, no. I said, sin. Have you ever sinned? And he's like, maybe. And I said, well, have you ever told a lie? Yes. Have you ever stolen anything? When I was a kid. Have you ever used God's name in vain? Yes. Have you ever hated anyone in your heart, even if for a moment? Yes. So I said, if God were to judge you on his perfect standard, would you be innocent or guilty? And he said, guilty. And I said, heaven or hell? And he said, well, hell. And I said, do you know what God did so that we don't have to go to hell? And he said, no. And so I shared about Jesus. I said, well, Jesus died on the cross, taking the punishment for your sin. He was fully God, and he paid the debt. He paid your price. And just like if someone were to say, here, I'm going to pay all your debts. Here's a check. If you never take it to the bank, it doesn't mean anything. It's just pointless. It's a piece of paper. So I said, you must take what Jesus did and trust and believe not only that he's God and not only that he died on the cross, but believe him so much that you surrender to him, that you give him total control. And he shared something about religion. He said something about religion, and I said, it doesn't come through religion, it comes through relationship with God. We're not even telling you to find God in church, but to find him through the Bible, to find him on your own. So challenged him to read the Gospel of John and to go home and read, and he said he would. He said he would read, and that was pretty much it for that encounter. He got the full gospel, and we walked away. But then the next guy that we talked to was another park worker, and his name was Leroy, and he said he doesn't believe in being born again. So I was with someone else, and they shared the gospel with him that, you must be born again. And I said, why don't you believe in being born again? And he said, because he doesn't believe in religion. And we said, did you have bad experiences growing up in church? He said, yes. What kind of church did you grow up in? He's like, I'm not supposed to talk about that. And I said, well, did you grow up in the Catholic Church? And he's like, no, a Methodist church. And so we shared that it's not about religion and it's not about church, but it's about Jesus, because a lot of people can grow up looking religious and grow up in church but not actually know God, not actually be saved, and on the judgment day their debt not be paid. And so I shared with him John 3 verses 3 through 7, which would be really good to memorize those. That's where Jesus talks about being born again, because I said being born again isn't a religious concept. Jesus is the one who said you must be born again and you must be born of the Spirit. And so I shared all of that, and I said, what are you gonna do on the day of judgment when you're gonna be judged if you're not born again? And he said, hopefully all my bills are paid. And I said, well, your sin debt needs to be paid. We're in debt to God, and Jesus is the only way our debt can be paid. So you should make sure all your debt is paid. And we challenged him to read the Bible. He said he has one, King James Version. We said, read the book of John. Challenge you to read the book of John and get to know God outside of religion. We said, if these people came up to you today, ask God, these people came up to me today telling me I must be born again. Help me to understand, Jesus. If you want me to be born again in order for me to enter the kingdom of heaven, help me to understand and to know what that means. And so prayed for him, and that was a blessing. So those were the 2 encounters of the day. They were shorter encounters, but they were blessed. And at the end, we were walking away, and I was with my friends, and I said, Lord, I pray that you would help us for these next 30 days to find the right people. And my friend interrupted me and said, for the rest of our lives. And I said, yes, Lord, change my attitude. Let it be for the rest of my life, not just for these next 30 days. Let it be for the rest of my life that I am looking for someone to share you with, to share the gospel with, to share the truth with. Let it not just be for 30 days. So I pray that this blesses you and encourages you. I pray that you all get out there and share the gospel. Even if you just give a tract to someone, even if you start like that, where you commit to giving out a tract for 30 days to whoever God calls you to, you never know what God could do through one piece of paper. You never know. So I pray that you get courage and confidence and boldness through this, and you learn how to share the gospel. God is your gospel sharing partner. Jesus is always with you. The Holy Spirit is always with you. So you're never alone. So he's the one who you can share the gospel with. So I pray that this blesses you and encourages you, and you all have a blessed and a beautiful day, a day filled with God's beauty. Bye.